Now, let's get to our first guest, Pennsylvania conservative Congressman Guy Reschenthaler. Congressman, always wonderful to have you. What can you tell me about what the New York Times story is saying about Kevin McCarthy there supporting throwing folks who have substantive questions about elections off social media? What can you tell us?
Well, if I can just go back to your preamble, you were spot on, but you got to remember that third party that you're talking about, we already have it. It's the new Republican Party. Chris, this is no longer the party of Paul Ryan and John Boehner. This is now President Trump's Republican Party. Kevin McCarthy is part of that. He's allied with President Trump. He's been by President Trump's side. President Trump is supporting Kevin McCarthy. And I can tell you that I know Leader McCarthy very well. I believe those comments were taken out of context and said in jest. And the reason I say that is this. There's been no bigger advocate for free speech than Kevin McCarthy. And when Marjorie Taylor Greene got shadow banned and kicked off Twitter, it's been Kevin McCarthy and his legal team that's been fighting to get Marjorie Taylor Greene reinstated. So why would Leader McCarthy be doing all this and then making these statements? It was clearly said in jest. But to go back to what you're saying in your preamble, by even discussing this, we're playing into the mainstream media's plan. We're falling into the trap the Democrats have laid for us, and that's talking about inter-party squabbles rather than talking about Hunter Biden, the chaos of the border, the disaster we saw in Afghanistan, inflation, all the other problems that Joe Biden and the Democrats have brought us. We're not talking about that. We're talking about inter-party politics.
Yeah, well, I say first off, I'm not part of a party. I'm a conservative. I have no party at this point. But, you know, and again, I've laid out the invitations to McCarthy and to Mitch McConnell, trying to mend those fences. And they want nothing to do with your liberty-loving Latino here, which, you know, that's fine. But again, if you want conservatives to be invested in your party, I don't know, might want to start acting like conservatives and actually opposing Democrats rather than seeking ways of accommodating socialists. Now, Alejandro Mayorkas, in the meantime, he tried to justify millions of illegal aliens being allowed by Team Biden to stream into America over the last year and a half. Watch this.
Yet, we have effectively managed an unprecedented number of non-citizens seeking to enter the United States.
See, Mayorkas admitting there that our government has been undertaking what he calls effective management of human smuggling, that racket. Congressman, is Joe Biden's team breaking U.S. law by doing this?
I believe they are. They're not following the law. And remember, the executive branch is there to execute the will of the legislature. A lot of these decisions have been made counter to prevailing law or current law. And remember, we can just go back to Title 42. It's amazing that you have Fauci, the unelected bureaucrat, saying that COVID is over. Yet at the same time, you have the Biden administration bringing in Article 42, saying that we don't have to stop immigrants at the border and send them back immediately because of health reasons. So the same people that want you to continue to wear masks on airplanes, by the way, the cleaner air than in operating rooms because of haptic filters, those same people, the same people that still want your kids who have virtually zero chance of dying of COVID, they want those kids to wear masks in school. Those are the same people that are saying at the southern border, COVID doesn't exist. We're going to allow illegal immigration to continue. But for everyone else, we still have to deal with the COVID pandemic and, of course, all the spending that comes with it.
All right. Multiple reports out there confirming that Joe Biden paid over $800,000 of Hunter Biden's legal bills. This includes payments tied to a Chinese firm. Emails confirm that he was cut in, Joe Biden, for a future 10% deal with the communist Chinese. You know, I remember Democrats, Congressman, running on impeaching Trump for the fake Russia collusion hoax. And I'm wondering why Republicans are not running on impeaching Joe Biden for we have a lot of evidence here of crimes. And today I spoke to former Congressman and CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, Devin Nunes, on my radio show. Here was his advice for Republicans. Listen to this.
I ran the Russia hoax investigation. I ran the impeachment hoax investigation. But where the Republican Party has to get better, and I would include myself in this if I was still there, we were too slow, even us, and we uncovered the biggest scandal in political history. Subpoenas have to be ready to go out in January. That's the power. If we're lucky enough, the Republican Party to take the Congress and take the Senate, and real investigations have to be run and they have to be executed properly. And you've got to do that with subpoenas coming out the gate.
Congressman, is the GOP ready for that? Or will it be like Paul Ryan's Mitch McConnell's GOP in 2016, where the GOP started attacking itself instead?
No, Devin Nunes, who is a close personal friend, he's absolutely correct. We've got to be ready to go. And to go back to Kevin McCarthy from the preamble, Kevin McCarthy is getting this party ready to go. He often uses the analogy that we don't work on the bus when we're driving down the freeway. We get the bus ready to go before we take off. Right now, we have multiple task force that are looking at specific issues, so we don't have the interjurisdictional fights that you have a lot of times when you take power. Additionally, we have Jamie Comer, who's the ranking member on oversight. He's getting ready with all this. And of course, Jim Jordan on judiciary. This is a different party than we had in the past. This is a party that over 50% of us came in when Trump was at the top of the ticket. And we have a leader in Kevin McCarthy who's a real conservative, not like leaders of the past who have always run to the middle. But I think that what you're going to see when we take back the House, which we will, and the Senate, again, which we will, we're going to have robust oversight investigation. We're going to get to the bottom of what Hunter Biden's shady deals were, the connection that the quote unquote big guy had. And I think at the end of all that oversight investigation, it's going to be very clear that Joe Biden has much more in common with Whitey Bulger than he does with JFK.
Congressman, I know you get it. You're a conservative. You get it. And you want to bring a reckoning to these socialists and these extremists who have done a lot of damage to this country. Praise God, you are right that the Republican Party now also recognizes this threat and is a different Republican Party. Congressman Guy Reschenthaler, always appreciate your time, sir, and the service to the country.
Thank you, Chris.
Again.